On point 2 is on Make in India AK-203 share rifles that are ready to roar. On point 3 was on Prime Minister Modi launching a revolutionary new facility for jet engine technology in India. Amid worsened air quality in Delhi, a research study reveals that the national capital is the most polluted region in the country. A study by the Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air says that the annual average PM2.5 level in Delhi has reached 101 micrograms per cubic meter, which is 2.5 times the Indian standard and 20 times the WHO limits. Across India, 447 out of 749 districts breached the annual PM2.5 limit, which means almost 60% of the 749 districts covered in the study exceed India's PM2.5 standard. The top 50 polluted districts in the country are concentrated in Delhi, Assam, Haryana and Bihar. And air pollution is also now not limited to urban areas. The pollution peaks in winter, affecting 82% of the districts, drops during the monsoon and surges again in post-monsoon. Together, Assam and Delhi account for nearly half of 50% of most polluted districts in the country. However, the national capital remains India's most polluted city. The study found that the Indo-Gangetic airshed, of which Delhi is a part, continues to have the highest pollution levels. Delhi has the highest annual PM2.5 levels. It has an annual mean of 101 micrograms per cubic meter, 2.5 times higher than India's safe limit of 40 micrograms per cubic meter. The levels are 20 times higher than WHO clean air guidelines of 5 micrograms per cubic meter. The assessment focused on population weighted PM2.5 levels, which represent the actual exposure of particulate matter on people rather than ambient air pollution. Further, the study reveals that compared to north and east, districts in south states are relatively cleaner. Southern and coastal districts stay within India's PM2.5 limit. These include Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Goa. On this issue, I am joined by Dr. Manoj Kumar, author and analyst, Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air, Dr. Gurfan Beg, Chair Professor, NIS and Founder, Project Director, SAFAR, and Sunil Dahya, Founder and Lead Analyst, Environmental Catalyst. How are you, sir? When I was going through this study, I also realized that, it's not only about the pollution in Delhi, it's a national issue. So please take us through why these areas are so polluted and why south of India is not that polluted.
See, it is all based on the climatology. We will see that the terrain and the climatology, all extremes, you will be finding that all the extremes are there in the North India. Firstly, in fact, it is further saved because Himalayas are there, otherwise it would have been much polluted more than that. So the reason is that you will see that winter is extreme, the summer is extreme. When winter is extreme, then the temperature goes very low and then boundary layer comes down, it traps the pollution. Then the surface winds becomes very slow. So that are the reason that Indo-Gangetic plain, North India, it becomes that kind of a problem. South India, there is much more warming is there. So in South India, there was a possibility that during the summer, PM2.5 could have gone high, but then that is not happening because summer automatically winds become faster. So it disperses faster. Ozone pollution becomes a problem when the temperature is more, but then that is a different issue altogether.
But Mr. Beg, why is Indo-Gangetic plain so polluted? I come from the Indo-Gangetic plain area, born in one, brought up in another. So why is it so polluted through the year?
You see, it is if you see per square kilometer population density, this is the most dense area, Indo-Gangetic plain, you will find out the per kilometer kind of a population in general. So it is a densely populated, one of the largest alluvial plain. So there is a lot of dust also coming in some of the places, and obviously major problem is extreme weathers.
Extreme weather. How are you, Mr. Dhaya? Very warm welcome on the show. Your opening comments on the study, which I had just mentioned. Your opening comments on the way pollution is becoming a both urban and rural phenomena. What is the broad view?
Thank you, Kartikeya, for having me. And this study is a reminder to the fact that air pollution is not just limited to the urban centers and Delhi NCR. The pollution is everywhere all across the country, and very rightly mentioned that IGP and some northeastern regions are becoming hotspots, though both Manoj and Dr. Gurfan have spoken about it. Meteorology plays a role, geography plays a role, but the emissions doesn't necessarily or only come from the pollution levels are not built by meteorology or geography. They come from emissions from certain sources and sectors. What happens in the IGP is that, as Dr. Gurfan mentioned, that the population density is high, the fuel consumption in transport is very high, the industrial activities in the IGP and periphery are higher. Coal-based power plants are also located mostly in the central and northern Indian belt. All that contributes to high emissions in this region, and that coupled with the meteorology and the geographical location, the funnel effect which is built across IGP is a reason why this area is very polluted. For northeastern regions, it's why we are seeing pollution levels increasing over last few years is primarily because the emissions there as well are increasing. The transportation systems are still very bad there. It is highly privatized. The fuel consumption is very high, and there are industries coming up there as well. And all of that coupled with the valleys where these cities are.
But where is Sunil? Why is Assam so polluted? 11 districts in Assam. I mean, so Delhi, Assam, Haryana, Bihar. Why are they so polluted?
See, Delhi, Haryana, and Bihar all share the same sources. As I mentioned, that it's in IGP, which is a funnel of air moving from northwestern parts of India or Pakistan to the West Bengal, and all of those sources, be it power plant, industries, transportation sector in these cities, the way construction is happening, biomass burning, everything keeps accumulating with the slow moving wind across this region, and that's why you'll see a higher concentration of polluted cities in these regions. Assam, as I mentioned, this is a new phenomena. This never used to happen, and everybody believed that Assam or Tripura or Meghalaya are pristine areas. But what is happening there is, because our model of development, model of urbanization, model of transportation systems, it's so flawed that the fuel consumption in these new states, new geographies is on a similar trajectory the way it was in the plains. There is high privatization of mobility there. The public transportation systems aren't really great, and that leads to high air pollution levels there. Along with that, whenever there are industrial activities,
one question which I want both of you to answer. Dr. Beg, South India is more industrialized. Heavy industries are there, but I'll show you the map in meantime. If you look at South India, the pollution is less. But if you look at the western part of the India, if you look at the eastern part of India, the pollution levels are higher. Why? Dr. Beg.
See, the industry is a point source, and the old perception that industry is the only source which gives rise to pollution is no more valid. The point is that since it is a point source, the control implementation is much easier, and then this is where most of the pollution control board also take maximum measures on that particular thing, because they know where to go. But wherever the population is more biofuel emissions are there, poverty is there, where the most of the people, not poverty I will not say, but I will say that most of the people are in a rural areas, population in the rural area is more. So the wood and cow dung and many other things is rampant in those areas, wherever you will see. So whatever you are talking about this Assam, some of the things and this, where I find that lot of cow dungs are being used. So the biofuel emission goes high, maybe transport may be low, but then as the population is becoming more and more vehicle would be there. So the point here is that in addition to the adverse weather for air pollution, these are the factors which is the crux of the problem. Yani these are the emissions which from where all the meteorology, climatology, everything starts.
You know,
So-
your study, your articles, Dr. Beg, they have
Yeah.
proven that pollution is not a local issue; it's a regional issue. So,
Yes.
in terms of, but air does not have a boundary. Uttar Pradesh has a boundary. Bihar has a boundary. Is there an air boundary, sir, in terms of regional systems? Can you just tell us about it?
Exactly, this is what my point is, and this is where we have to change the policies. For the sake of implementation, it becomes easier to control things because our system, administrative system, is like this, where district level there is a control, state level there is a control, but air pollution does not regard any boundaries. So we need to work on a airshed mode where the area which enjoys the common weather, common climatology. If that is the case, which does not see the boundary. For example, in Delhi, I will see that 6 more states, some areas of 6 more states, surrounding states are part of the airshed. Unless you take action, all the policies, all the mitigation measures are based on the airshed boundary, you will see little changes. You need to come out with a planning that how to come together, 6 states bring together. Difficult from a more point of view because of the political different different governments are there are different kind of administrations are there, but then for the sake of health for the people you need to come together and come out with a mechanism so that you start working on a airshed mode rather than working on a district or a state level mode.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that bad air does not only lead to coughing, does not only lead to suspending your exercise session. It can lead to bigger things. Do you think there's lack of awareness in context of PM2?
In fact, the point here is very clear that still NCAP, whatever is going on, PM10 is the lead pollutants.
Okay.
Or PM10 is the pollutant, all the percentage change, percentage 30%, 40%.
Okay.
The measuring scale is PM10, not PM2.5.
Okay. So basically,
Dangerous.
so you are saying that the PM10 is a bigger pollutant?
No, this is where the point is that in NCAP 1, PM2.5 is a bigger pollutant, more dangerous, more unhealthy, more bad menace for us. But unfortunate thing is that in NCAP, all the measures which you will see that 30% reduction should be by 2026, 27, 24 or all, that is done for the PM10. Are you understanding what I am trying to convey? So your measuring scale is PM10, whereas it should have been PM2.5. Maybe in NCAP 2, PM2.5 will be the one where all the scales will be measured accordingly. But then this is where the problem is.
Okay. Dr. Manoj Kumar is back with us. It was his center which did the study. Can you just basically tell us the overall picture? The data you have picked up is telling us about the health ramification of PM2.5. Dr. Manoj Kumar?
Yes, again, we need to stress the point here that PM2.5, like Dr. Beg sir told, PM2.5 is more important, and it is of very concerning that it's more toxic. And when we look at the exceedance and the non-compliance, it's almost 60%. I mean, again, the 130 cities is based on the data of 2011 to 2015. It's almost a decade back. Based on the 2011 to 15 data, they have selected the 131 cities. But over the last decade, there are so many cities which are all not categorized as non-attainment cities, and there is a need for revision of a number of cities under NCAP. So that needs to be done, and by saying that, we need to again look at not just at city level, we need to again focus on the regional level also. So that's how we need to approach this kind of pollution.
Dr. Manu, how big the health hazard is, PM2.5? A lot of people don't even know about it, what it can cause.
So it causes a number of, whatever, for example, the recent global burden of disease study, it estimated in Delhi, it caused 17,000 deaths per year, which is almost 1 in 7 deaths. And again, how it is causing means it is so minute that it can reach up to your alveoli, which is the gas exchange part in our body. And the most impacted groups are children and elderly. For example, if the children group are inhaling PM2.5, maximum 40% can reach your deepest part of lungs. So that's how the intense of the situation is. It's so minute, it can reach our lungs, and our mechanism is very slow in cleaning these type of PM2.5. And once it is reaching the lungs, it can cause a range of health effects, starting from irritation, and it goes from lungs, it can go to it can enter the bloodstream, and once it is entering the bloodstream, it causes heart diseases, and then it goes to stroke. And in the recent papers also found that there is an increased risk of diabetes because of increased PM2.5 concentration. So it's almost, we cannot confine to a particular health effects. It poses range of health effects, and the toxicity is so much. And it is based on the combustion of sources and the composition of PM2.5. And this is not, when compared to PM10, it's not that toxic, but again, PM10 is will cause health effects, but not as much as PM2.5. That's why we are strongly arguing that we must focus on PM2.5 rather than PM10. And by saying that, we are also saying that most of the PM10 is made up of PM2.5. At least 40 to 60% of PM10 is composed of PM2.5. So automatically we can reduce the toxic part. Then PM10 is just mostly contributed by dust.
Sunil Dahiya, this study also breaks a myth कि गांव की हवा स्वच्छ है, गांव का पानी स्वच्छ है. It breaks that myth. This divide which was there, let's go back. If you go through it, it means that air pollution is impacting both urban and rural areas equally. It breaks that myth. So what can be done to counter it? Do you think that some sort of a emergency mission or some sort of a mission mode needs to be declared in context of bad air?
No, so we definitely see having National Clean Air Program was a win because for the first time in our country we were tackling air pollution at the national level. But where we failed in National Clean Air Program, at Dr. Gurfan Beg as well as Manoj has mentioned, that it has been a little myopic in its vision. It doesn't have any time-bound absolute emission reduction. It just says that we'll reduce PM10 levels by 60% or 40% by 2026, and that just saying it doesn't reduce pollution. What we needed to do was we needed to set targets for absolute emission load reduction from transport sector, from industries, from power plants, from construction, waste, stubble burning. For every sector there was supposed to be, or there should have been, a time-bound absolute emission load reduction approach adopted. And just having an approach, having targets, having absolute emission load reduction based approach was also not enough. What we also needed to do was fix accountability of these polluting sectors, as well as administrators and regulators who govern these
this message needs to go out that bad air affects your longevity, like the way tobacco was combated by showing your the ultimate result of cancer, those photographs, it repelled people from buying cigarettes.
We have to go beyond that, and we have to ensure that all these people, all these polluters as well as administrators and regulators, they are told that until unless you reduce it, your promotions will be stopped, your industries will be closed down, because this is a health emergency. If you don't do it, it is happening right now. Whenever grab stages come into picture, industries are closed down, transport is closed down. This happens in parts and parcel, and nobody bothers about it because it's the loss to the nation. But if this keeps happening as reactionary measures, we are going to lose out on much more than if we tackle it at source and reduce the pollution, do away with the need of those knee-jerk or reactionary measures. It is in the favor of our economic development, doing away with that welfare loss cost, which all of us, if we are healthy enough, will contribute to whatever we are doing in way better economical value proposition than we would have in polluted days. So it is a loss to the family, it is a loss to the person who is suffering, it is a loss to the city and the country, and it is an emergency. That is why we need to fix accountabilities and give them absolute targets for their sectors, their geographies, and if they don't comply on that, there would be penalization done for them. There will be penal actions. There will be incentives for them. We don't have those kind of mechanisms, and unless we do have them, it is going to be really difficult to reduce pollution levels, because
Absolutely.
we can reduce pollution from one place. Like Delhi has done everything or is trying to do everything, but power plants are coming up in the
Amjad, look at this map. Let me take this closing comment from Dr. Begli. Look at this map. This is the pollution map. What does it tell us, sir? If you look at it on your screen, that red,
Yes.
what is it telling you, sir?
See, this is, one very important message which is coming out from here is that pollutions are not confined to big cities or mega cities. It is so the non-attainment and attainment doesn't hold any water. So the point is that so far, since we are not doing in attainment cities, we do not know, we don't have a measurement. And I have a very strong feeling that in the villages, when the CO and VOC is high, ozone is going to be a big problem there, which is much more lethal than PM2.5. So the message here is
Ozone.
that, ozone, which is a gas which is likely to be very high in the rural areas, because VOC and carbon monoxide is coming from the biofuel.
Thanks for enlightening me. I really ran short of time. I would have come to Sunil, but this is all I have on point one, because the entire idea of having this conversation was to tell that we need to do more to clean our toxic air. But on the other side, we will talk about Sheraya and Sheraya after a short break.
क्वालिटी पे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस, इसलिए बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
जी, आपने भारत कनेक्ट का नाम सुना है?
शादी वादी कराएं क्या?
शादी नहीं, 5 लाख एजेंट्स की मदद से बिल पेमेंट्स पॉसिबल बनाते हैं।
ओ,
जैसे अभी किया।
शाबाश।
आप हमें जानते नहीं पर मानते जरूर हैं। हम हैं भारत कनेक्ट।